Okay, hi, I'm Jen. When I when I was your age, I didn't give a flying flooey about politics, so I totally get it if you don't. I grew up in a politically divided household, so I've always felt really, really strongly that politics aren't like sports. You know, there's no need to have team loyalty. So I'm not here to tell you how to vote. I'm not here to tell you to go see one of my movies. Red Sparrow opens March 2nd everywhere. I'm here because, as corny as it sounds, I love my country and I want to protect it. And there is a problem that is much bigger than political parties. It's a problem that is that's at the root of our political system, and it's spreading like a rot through our democracy, and it's called corruption. Our political system, the one that's supposed to work for us, the American people, is broken. And it affects basically every issue that you and I care about: healthcare, public education, the environment, you name it. How does this happen? I'm sorry, I'm really nervous, but it happens because politicians need a lot of money to run for office. To have a seat in the Senate, you have to raise $14,000 a day for 6 years. And if you win, that entire cycle starts all over again. So if you win, these politicians are spending 70% of their time fundraising instead of working for us, the American people. And because only a tiny fraction of Americans can actually afford to give these gigantic donations to politicians, politicians focus more on the very few Americans that can actually cut these gigantic checks instead of us. And again, we're talking about both sides of the aisle here are doing this.
Wow, that's Jennifer Lawrence calling for draining the swamp. She just recognized that our politics is not Democrat versus Republican. It's the people versus the corrupt political class that does the bidding of donors rather than voters. This is the populist politics of the future. Jennifer Lawrence just hopped on board. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, make sure to share this video, if you would, with friends and family. We are, once again, being suppressed by big tech, so I need your help to get the hopeful message of this channel out to as many people as possible. Now, what you just heard there from Jennifer Lawrence, the actress, is actually a video she made a couple of years back, but it's obviously more pertinent now than ever. What she just said there was not mere conjecture. We actually have hard data on what she just said. When she said that we're witnessing a total political system failure in America that involves both Democrats and Republicans. We have a systemic failure in our politics, regardless of which party is in power. That failure is how the donor class and politicians are becoming unidentifiable from one another. We saw this particularly with the implosion of Signature Bank. If you remember, Signature Bank was the third largest bank failure in history, following the shuttering of Silicon Valley Bank, the second largest failure. And we now know why it failed so abysmally. It's because Signature Bank was blatantly corrupt. They were active participants in the revolving door between congressional legislators and the banking industry. And we know that because their board of directors gave the ultra-leftist former Democratic Congressman Barney Frank a board seat. And Barney Frank, of course, was one of the co-sponsors of the Dodd-Frank Financial Reform Law of 2010 that regulated banks like Signature Bank. So what we saw there was the banking industry and supposedly independent regulators of the banking industry joining forces on the board of directors. And speaking of banks, to make things even worse, we've got a new and serious threat coming from woke corporations. It's called debanking, where woke banks are increasingly closing the accounts of patriots all around the globe. It's insidious. And one of the most important areas of protest where patriots are deliberately taking their money out of these woke banks is in the massive buying spree going on right now with gold and silver. I mean, we saw this right after the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, where more and more investors began moving their money back into the timeless value of gold. And we've got amazing friends to this channel who can help you do just that. We partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, who've helped patriots all across the nation move over $1 billion into gold and silver. You heard that right. They're absolutely amazing. Click on that link below right now. And for those with retirement accounts, the patriots over at Goldco are offering up to $10,000 in free silver when opening up a qualified IRA account. And for cash buyers, you're going to love this. You can get bonus silver just for making a purchase. So if you buy $15,000 worth of precious metals, you're going to get $750 in bonus silver. And if you buy $25,000 worth of precious metals, you're going to get $1,200 worth of bonus silver. But that's only as long as supply lasts. So don't wait. Click on that link below right now. This is your opportunity to protect yourself from woke banks by guarding your assets with what patriots have invested in for centuries, the timeless value of gold and silver. Click on that link below right now. What Jennifer Lawrence is alluding to was confirmed by a study published by Princeton University a few years back, and its conclusions were frankly chilling. The study concluded that the United States is indeed dominated by a rich and powerful elite that have amassed more money and power than ever before in the history of mankind. And the study found that this elite, made up of bureaucrats and billionaires, has demonstrably more influence over the direction of government policy than do average citizens. In fact, the study found that, get this, elections have virtually no impact whatsoever on public policy. Public policy is almost entirely shaped by the corporate interests of the wealthy few. It was very, very interesting. What these professors at Princeton did is they reviewed answers to surveyed questions over the course of about 20 years. And these were survey questions on public policy issues, and they broke the answers down by income level and then determined how often those varying income levels saw their policy preferences enacted. And what they found was that when people with lower incomes, who represent a larger group of respondents, so democratically they were the larger percentage of the respondents, but when a majority of average citizens disagreed with economic elites, those with super high income, on any policy issue, they almost always lost. The study confirmed what economic elites virtually always get their way, and it could go either way. If a large majority of Americans favor a policy change, but the elites oppose it, then generally speaking, the policy change doesn't happen. And if the majority opposes it, but the elite want it, the elite generally get it. And keep in mind, it didn't matter if you were dealing with Democrats or Republicans. It didn't matter. The rich got the policies they wanted, even if the rest of us didn't want them. And whatever the rich didn't want, they didn't get passed, even if the majority of us supported it. And so this study concluded bluntly that we, the United States, are not a democracy. We're an oligarchy. We're ruled by a bureaucratic and billionaire elite, both Republican and Democrat alike, the uniparty. And this is the new norm in our politics, where bureaucrats and billionaires form a single class that has amassed tremendous power and wealth. But as we talked about in our last video, the good news is that the jig is up. More and more people are recognizing that our politics is indeed fundamentally broken. This is why RFK Jr. and his populist campaign is doing so well. Even those on the political left recognize that their vote is meaningless. Their Democrat politicians like Barney Frank are every bit as bought and paid for as any Republican politician. They do the bidding of the donor class. And what we're seeing more and more of are candidates like Trump, RFK Jr., who are rising up to fight not a political party, but an entire corrupt system made up of both parties. That is the politics of the future. And that's the politics that has the permanent political class terrified. Hey, gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.